Hello artist friends, today I've got my little doggy Dahlia here to just up the cute factor in this video. In this video as well, I talk about the 5 more lessons from my watercolor art practice that applies in real life. It's actually part 2 of a video that I did 2 weeks ago called 5 lessons from watercolor that also applies in real life. So if you haven't watched that one already, you can watch it after this one. It's really from my heart. It's why I paint. So yeah, and I also paint some lovely peonies as well for you to enjoy while you listen to me yab away. Keep watching the video. Hi, so this is a large watercolor paper, 12 by 15, and I'll be painting some peonies for you today. In this YouTube video of the version of this painting, it will be sped up a little bit as I talk about the 5 additional things that I discovered in watercolor that I also discovered in real life. If you want to watch the real-time version and also see the reference image that I'm painting from, you need to sign up for my Patreon, and that will you'll be able to follow with me real time, and I'll give you more specific instructions of how I paint. So this is just something that I am tweaking going forward in 2025. All my videos, I won't be featuring my full-length tutorials anymore on YouTube. That will be a paid thing with my Patreon, and instead in my YouTube channel I will be sharing with you more broad art content, inspiration, philosophy, and stuff like that, which I'm really excited to be doing more of. But as we headed into this transition, I'm still sharing this tutorial, or rather this painting, with you, just a little bit more sped up than usual on YouTube. Anyway, let's get right into the 5 additional things that I discovered while painting, while creating, starting an art practice for myself that also applies in real life. And if you want to watch the initial video, the first part, I go through 5 things, and they were, and you can watch it after this one, or if you haven't already, but they were connection, balance, space, letting go, and play. So let's go right into the 5 more things that I discovered. All right, number 1 or number 6, my sense of curiosity. I realize in my painting practice, my sense of curiosity is like been ignited again, so much that I didn't realize how a lot of my sense of curiosity just died down and got really sort of like washed out in my adulthood, especially since I've become a parent. We really want predictability. We want to feel in control of a lot of things, and my sense of curiosity was just tempered down by not wanting to take risks and not wanting to put myself or my family in danger in lots of things. But I realized that on the paper, I'm able to really be curious and really explore and really play, because the consequences are not huge. Like, no one's life is in danger. Even if I make a mistake and I try something new and it goes wrong, I mean, what is the problem? There's no problem in that. So I find that my art practice is some place where I can really practice and really indulge my sense of curiosity. What does this color look like? What if I mix this color with that color? I see something online. I see a new way of painting or a new technique. I see new inspiration, and I just can't wait to try something new. And, I feel like the human spirit craves new things and novelty, and not just experiencing them passively, but actively as well. So curiosity is one of the elements that I discovered in my painting that I also really I try to bring more into my real life now that I discovered it's actually a good thing to be curious, to find out, to explore. Yeah. All right, the second thing I want to talk about in this video, which is actually number 7, is the whole concept of failure and success on the other end. So what I realized that is that I am less afraid of failure on my art, in my art, because like I said, there's no big consequence, right? And so what if I fail? So what if I, I make a messy, awful painting? It's actually a great way, a great place to practice failure. It's a great canvas and an area where you can just go all out and fail multiple times, all the time. And it is through failure that we get to see the gold, right? Like there's so many famous people with these quotes and experiences. And I think Steve Jobs said it like, you will not have a successful business unless you have failed multiple times. If you have led a life just full of successes, how are you going to learn? Failure is where you learn so many things. And if you have kids, like I do, it's important for them to go through failure, whether it's failing a test or an exam, whether it's losing their soccer match, because oh my gosh, like so much growth, so much character building is made from failure. So failing in our art, creating an awful painting is just such a powerful thing to remind me that, we can't always have successes in life, and we need to fail in order to grow. That's the second one. The third thing about my art that makes me realize how important this is in life is sparking joy. I know a lot of you will agree, painting is joyful. Like we paint because we feel happy, to use the simplest English language. But I mean, this happiness that we feel in our painting is not something that is huge and life-changing. It's not like if you won the lottery, it's small and it's sparking little moments of joy. And these little moments of joy, whether it's putting down your favorite color or when the bleed happens perfectly and you're like, yes, that really works, or that you're, cracking into your brand new supply, a brand new brush, and you're just exploring it for the first time. We need to experience joy, little moments of joy in our daily life. And it's because when I'm painting and I'm aware which part of it that sparks joy, right? That I'm able to know when I go back to it, I want to do that again and again and again. So I believe that a lot of us develop our style is all we're doing is we are just following what it is that sparks most joy for us. Honestly, like the reason why I don't paint detailed watercolor paintings, because that does not spark joy for me, and I admire it. I love watching it, but it does nothing for me when I paint it, so I don't do it. So think about what it is in your life that sparks joy for you. Little parts of joy, whether it's that first sip of coffee in the morning, whether it's, watching the last moment of sunset, or it could be even like, just picking up a leaf that you see on your walk, and you're like, oh my God, this is so pretty. Boom, spark little moments of joy. Connection with your friends, having a good chat, all these things. So yeah, that's number 3. Now the fourth thing I want to talk about is the permission to not be perfect. So perfectionism is a disease that we all suffer from. And I am a Virgo, and apparently Virgos are perfectionists. I never thought I was. I always felt that I was quite a type B person. I mean, look at my painting. I'm so loose. I have a messy palette. But there are parts of me that definitely likes things my way, and I struggle when it's not my way. And I feel like in my art practice, I have learned to let go of this perfectionism, because watercolor, sometimes things just don't go your way. It just doesn't, the water goes everywhere, the paint goes everywhere. And for some reason, I actually really embrace the permission to not be perfect. It is one area of my life where I can let go and I can be complete imperfect self, and be okay with other people's imperfect selves. That's why when, you can ask my patrons, apparently everyone says that I give the most, generous, kind remarks on everybody's paintings, because I really do see the beauty in everybody's paintings, because it is precisely your unique mark, your imperfection that makes the painting so gorgeous and beautiful. Everybody's imperfect, loose, relaxed marks that really makes me happy and makes me so joyful when I see that imperfectionism come out. Finally, the fifth thing I want to share is that the really big thing that was like a light bulb moment was when I started painting, was how it drops me into flow state straight away. And this flow state is like accessible almost straight away for me in painting, and I adore. And it's something that I have been seeking. We all need it. We all seek it in our normal day-to-day life. The feeling where you are just lost in your own practice and time stands still and you're so relaxed and your breathing just melts into your body and you're right here in the present. That flow state is everything. And it is something that I sometimes get when I at teaching yoga, practicing yoga drops me there, when I am cooking, when I'm gardening, sometimes when I'm doing housework, actually cleaning, I drop into flow state as well, and I love it. It's so relaxing, it's so beautiful, and painting in watercolor does that for me completely. And I feel like it's one of the things that really taught me, like, oh wow, okay, this is how important flow state is, and I will try to seek it as much as possible, but I know for sure when I paint, it's there for me. So yeah, that's it. Those are the 5 things that I wanted to share in this video. Let me know if any of it resonates with you, if there's any more themes that you find in painting that you resonate with. If you want to, share and discuss more, I talk about all of this in my Patreon a lot. That our whole theme of my Patreon, I call it Uncomplicated Artist Movement, where we share the joys, the philosophies of painting, and we find our own unique voice, our own imperfect unique voice through art, through painting. And check it out. I have my link in this to my Patreons in the description below. Otherwise, enjoy this painting, and I'll see you in the next video. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to share, that your art practice has brought to you. Otherwise, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.